Hello all. Today we are going to discuss about the age following to the Enlightenment period. We call this age as the age of rising radical political thoughts in the literature of political philosophy. The reason that behind this is that during the age of the 19th century, quite of a number of different political ideas that advocated radical transformation in social and political life of societies have emerged. Among these ideas, two certain perspectives that are still today very appealing for many scholars appeared. These are Marxism and the anarchist way of thinking. This chapter of our book, namely Political Thought, seventh chapter of our book, mainly aims to inform you how these perspectives understand and evaluate the society. This chapter, the seventh chapter of our book, Political Thought, firstly focuses on certain concepts of Marxist political thought, such as concepts of alienation, surplus value, and dialectical materialism. Then the chapter keeps to inform you two primary terms, concepts of Marxist political thought, namely superstructure and substructure. Following this, it focuses on a basic space of evolution in Marxist thought, which is known as social class. And lastly, the chapter briefly summarizes the differences between similarities and differences between Marxist political thought and anarchist way of thinking. Starting with the first aim of our chapter, it particularly focus on certain concepts like alienation, surplus value, and dialectical materialism. These concepts can be considered as the basic conceptual framework of Marxist political thought. Let's first look at the concepts of alienation. Alienation can be considered as a process through which workers become foreign to their labor, species, and themselves. For Marx, workers first become alienated from their own selves. Then they become alienated to their labor. Then they become alienated to their labor and to the products they produce. Finally, they become alienated to their species, their population, and their fellow workers. The value that workers produce above their weights, which is at the survival level, is called surplus value, that is appropriated by the capitalist in the framework of the Marxist political thought, and capitalists gain profit from the goods and services that they sell in the market. Looking at the concepts of dialectical materialism, we see that this is a way of understanding of social, political, and economic life of societies, which is developed by the Marxist political thought. It can be considered as a methodology of Marxism. Grounded on Hegel's ideas, Marx considered the dialectical materialism as a means of accomplishing historical progress through struggle. According to Marx, social class differences cause human conflict. The struggle between opposing social classes ends every historical area and causes to the emergence of a new era. As antitheses emerge within the thesis in Hegel's thought, in every historical stage of society, a new social class developed to an antithesis to the ruling class. The superstructure and the substructure are two main space of evolutions in Marxist political thought. The substructure and the superstructure, in other words, that we can call them as basic parts of societies in Marxist analysis of social and economic life. The substructure is the economic system and the material base of society. The two components of the substructure are the means of productions and the relations of production. The superstructure of the society is composed of all of non-material institutions within the society, for example, religion, governmental issues, administrative issues, law, education, art, values, and ideology. In every society, the social institutions in the superstructure justify the economic system, in other words, the substructure, through values and norms. Looking at one of the main concepts of Marxist political thought, namely social class, we see that it occupies quite strong, quite central place in entire Marxist thought, even after Marx. According to Marx, there are two main social classes in all stratified societies. These are the ruling class and subject class, namely proletariat. The ruling class owns and controls the means of production such as land, capital, labor, buildings, and machinery. The ruling class exploits and oppresses the subject class in order to maintain and reinforce its advantages. According to Marxist view, there is a fundamental contradiction, a conflict of interest between these two classes. The exploitations and oppressions of some people by others would only end when classes disappear, and classes will disappear only when the means of production are commonly owned by the society. In capitalist societies, when the economic and social preconditions of the revolution are fulfilled and proletariat gains class consciousness, the proletariat will make a spontaneous revolution, and the proletarian dictatorship will be established according to the Marxist view. The state is the device of the ruling class in capitalist societies according to the Marxism, and protects the interest of the capitalist and the capitalist system. The functions of the state in capitalist societies is to ensure the common benefits of the whole bourgeois class in Marxist thought. As an important concept that we need to emphasize to understand Marxist political thought is ideology. Ideology represents ideas, conceptions, or consciousness of the ruling class in Marxist political thought. It functions as the superstructure of a society. The goal of ideology is to legitimize the position of the ruling class and to curtail the oppression and exploitations of subjective class, in other words, working class in Marxist thought. When we look at the anarchist political thought, we see that it resembles Marxism in terms of some point, and it differs from the Marxist political thought from certain points. Anarchy is typically defined as a society without government. Anarchism is in the political thought considered as a form of social philosophy. The ultimate goal of anarchism is usually illustrated as to create a free society which allows all human beings to realize their full potential. Most of anarchist scholars provide a particular view of human nature, a critique of the existing order, a vision of a free society, and various ways to achieve it. It can be said that nearly all of the anarchists rejects the legitimacy of an external government and of the state. They mainly condemn imposed political authority, hierarchy, and domination. Looking at the similarities between Marxist and anarchist political thoughts, we can see that both emerged as a reaction to serve oppression during the mid-1850s. Both embraces a material understanding of the world. Both accepts Marxist analysis of the surplus value. Both believes that working class has potential to change the capitalist modes of production and create a classless society. And lastly, both believes that the only way to defeat capitalism is revolution. When we look at both Marxist and anarchist political thoughts, we can also notice certain differences. The main difference among them are largely related to the understanding of the state. According to the anarchists, the reason of class existence is the state itself. They believe that if there was no state, the society would be a classless one. On the other hand, Marxists consider that the state is the consequence of a class conflict. They consider that the capitalist state must first be overthrown in order to defeat capitalism itself. However, after the revolution, a proletariat state should take place and protect the achievements of the Proletarian Revolution, according to the Marxist political view. When we look at this chapter, 7th chapter of our book, we see that it basically informs the reader about the radicals of political thought after the Enlightenment age, which are Marxist and anarchists' political thoughts. In terms of its discussion, it mainly focuses on basic concepts of Marxism and anarchism. It firstly starts with the concepts of alienation, surplus value, and dialectical materialism. Following this, it focuses on the two basic concepts again, which are superstructure and substructure, which allows the Marxist political thought to make an analysis of social structure. After that, it focuses on the basic primary space of evolution of Marxism that it uses it, so the analysis of social class, to understand how the relations in politics, social life, and economic life maintains each other and continues. Following this chapter focuses on anarchist political thought as a social philosophy, not as only as a political movement, but as a social philosophy. And after that, it puts distinctions between anarchist and Marxist political thoughts, as well as certain similarities. Thank you to join me today.